A Souk-based rugby program is drawing some unique attention. Thunder Rugby introduces the sport to young Indigenous people. Lately, it's been expanding across Vancouver Island and to the mainland as well. And now the program is collaborating with the artist, Richard Hunt. Hunt is the designer behind Thunder Rugby's new signature ball. Khalil Akhtar met John Lyall to learn more about the program and the new ball. John is the director of Thunder Rugby and the vice principal at Edward Milne Community School in Souk.
Thunder Rugby, we've been around for about 5 years, and our goal is to promote rugby to Indigenous youth and communities. And so we've had a lot of fun, a lot of success. Phil Mack is our head coach, and he's the current captain of the national team.
Okay. So what are you up to right now?
We're preparing to go to Vancouver in March. We're also preparing for perhaps a tournament in June, and we have a regular camp in the summer. We participate in sevens tournaments, so we're kind of a representative team. And we're also working with BC Rugby, and we have camps. We have a week-long sort of camps that we've had at Songhees and Saanich. They have some in Vancouver as well.
What are sevens tournaments for people who aren't into rugby, who don't follow what's going on in the province?
Rugby is there's primarily two versions of rugby. There's a 15-a-side game, which is the traditional game. That's an 80-minute game, 2 40-minute halves. And the 7-a-side rugby is just that. There's 7-a-side on the field with a 14-minute game. So you can often play 2 to 3 games in a day, and it's sort of it's a quicker, perhaps some people may say more exciting version of the game. And it's sort of, by having 2 or 3 games a day, it's sort of conducive to tournament format.
Is Thunder Rugby really competitive? I mean, where do you stand in the province?
Well, we get players from all over, and at times we work that angle. Like quite often, we're introducing the game of rugby to Indigenous youth, and so we're always sort of flipping the two sides. Everyone likes to be competitive and win, but we also we kind of partner that with introducing the game. So sometimes our goals are it's not to win the tournament, but there's more usually to have fun and introduce the game.
So tell me why that's important. I mean, introducing rugby, particularly to Indigenous kids, why is that such an important goal?
Well, Indigenous rugby or Indigenous participation in rugby is well known throughout the world. New Zealand All Blacks is probably, and the New Zealand Maori is probably the most famous example of that. You can see that now in Australia as well, with them recognizing their Indigenous roots. Fiji and Samoa are very strong powerhouse rugby teams, and it's something in Canada that hasn't really picked. It hasn't been a traditional sport of the Indigenous community. Soccer and basketball, lacrosse, canoeing. Those times have and hockey have taken that, and so rugby's it's got great Indigenous participation. Rugby is something that when 15s particularly, there's a spot for everyone. In sevens, it's a little more. You have to be a little more athletic, I suppose.
Sure.
But it's a great sport. Once you're into rugby, it's usually a family for life.
How did that happen, that Indigenous communities around the world and other places ended up sort of focused on rugby? I mean, you mentioned New Zealand, Australia.
Well, I can't say exactly why. New Zealand it's a smaller place, and they've taken the rugby. They're the world champions, and they have a large Maori population or large Indigenous population there that are quite athletic. So I think they just took to it. It's a very competitive sport. I think rugby is a great game for our Indigenous communities because it's a great game, and it offers a different angle for those kids that are interested in perhaps a little more physicality. Tell
me about this ball. We've got this ball sitting in front of us on the desk, and this seems significant here.
Yeah, this is a Thunderbird Ball. It's designed by Richard Hunt. Richard Hunt's a famous Kwak artist from the Quag Youth, and he used to play rugby back at Vic High in the day, and so he's always been a great supporter of our program. We've had 2 other logos of Thunderbirds, one by Randy Cook and one by Curtis Wilson, both island artists. And this one, we asked for a ball for Richard, and so this is a Thunderbird on a comet. and it's coming. It's coming to Earth. This is Earth here.
Oh, gotcha. So Earth is on the end there, and the Thunderbird is moving forward. How did this come about? I mean, did you reach out to him, or did he reach out to you?
Well, Richard did some work with BC Rugby last year, and he did very, very popular ball. And so I asked Richard, quite simply, Richard, would you be interested in doing a ball for Thunder Rugby? And Richard said, yeah, sure, he would love to, and so he did. And so he produced the logo for us, or the design, kind of on an oval shaped piece of paper, and then we got the balls produced through Extreme Rugby. It's a support of ours, and they arrived last week. And when I originally bought them, when we ordered them, I wasn't anticipating the reaction. They're kind of called art balls, or very colorful balls. They're very colorful balls. Most balls, rugby balls, are kind of white and fairly standard looking. But these ones are very beautiful design, and people have really taken to them. We've already on our second order, which is great for us, and it's going to be great promotional. I'm not sure. We'll see how they hold up to the rigors of a game, but I think I'm likely going on quite a few mantles.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they display really nicely. What was the reaction? I mean, you mentioned that you weren't quite expecting the reaction you got.
Well, we have a few social media sites, Thunder Indigenous Rugby on Facebook and on Instagram, Thunder Rugby, and on Twitter as well, and people just started, commenting, sharing, phoning. I think when I posted it, within 15 seconds, our manager, Ona, who maybe spends a bit too much time on Facebook, commented and said, how do I buy one? Within instantaneously. And then, I guess
Just went out there.
Yeah, trending, I suppose they call
viral.
it. Yeah,
that is what
viral,
they say.
Yeah.
So where can people get these? I mean, what is the answer to that question? If someone wants to get one of these to display or hold on to? Well,
yeah, we obviously love the support, because if we sell the ball there, we can use any money. We're not to help our other programs, and we're always looking for balls for kids, and but you can probably the easiest way is to look us up, Thunder Indigenous Rugby on Facebook, and look for the post and just comment or message me.
You can get your own.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
John Lyall is the director of Thunder Rugby. He was speaking to Khalil Akhtar in Souk.